Lemonada.
This message comes from Harvard Business School Executive Education. Now is the time to invest in yourself and change the world with your voice. Our programs connect you with faculty at the forefront of their fields, introduce you to a global network of leaders, and help you step into your full potential. The next chapter is yours. Let us help you write it. Apply today to accelerate your future. Learn more at hbs.me/accelerate. That's hbs.me/accelerate. You can focus on exercise, nutrition, all the things you're supposed to do for your health, but if you are not sleeping well, it is very hard to feel refreshed.
Especially when you wake up overheated in the middle of the night, that completely affects my sleep, which is why I love the ChiliPad 2.0 by Sleep Me. It is a water-based mattress topper that controls your sleep temperature and works with your existing mattress. And if one person sleeps hot and the other sleeps cold, and that's Adam and me, each side can have its own temperature setting, which is amazing.
Yeah, and I also love that it automatically starts when you get into bed, so it feels seamless. Visit www.sleep.me/Gretchen to get up to $255 off your ChiliPad 2.0 with code Gretchen. This special offer is available for happier listeners and only for a limited time. Order it today with free shipping and try it out for 30 days. You can return it for free if you don't like it with their sleep trial. Visit www.sleep.me/Gretchen and see why cold sleep is your ultimate ally in performance and recovery. Hello and welcome to Happier, a podcast where we talk about ways to become happier. This week, we'll talk about something that makes August special, and we will talk about a special challenge for upholders with little kids. I'm Gretchen Rubin, a writer who studies happiness, good habits, human nature. I'm in my little home office in New York City, and joining me today from Los Angeles is my sister Elizabeth Kraft. And Elizabeth, you and I both have a reason to celebrate in August.
That's me, Elizabeth Kraft, a TV writer and producer living in LA. And yes, Gretch, we'll get to it, but yeah, we both will be celebrating.
Yes. Now, before we jump in, we have been asking, and we've gotten so many great responses, but we want even more for our upcoming episode 600.
Yay.
We would love to know what has stuck with you the most. What idea has really helped you in your own life to become happier, healthier, more productive, more creative? It's always super interesting for us to hear what resonates most with people. And then I also think it can be a highlight reel for other people because maybe you haven't listened to all 600 episodes, but you can listen to the ones that have made the biggest difference to other listeners. So keep those coming.
Yes, I love reading those.
I love it.
And then, Gretchen, we got this from Susan in London about golden hours, which we were discussing, the idea that you want to use your evenings. Mm-hmm. She said, for me, Wednesday is a night off from family chores. My wonderful husband suggested 10 years ago that I should have a night off once a week. I picked Wednesdays when I already have an exercise class, so I come home stretched and relaxed. He cooks dinner, or if he is out, I prepare a quick and easy store cupboard dinner. I choose the show we watch, and I postpone non-urgent chores like laundry and family admin until the next day. It is a very small thing, and I don't think the kids even notice that Wednesday is my night off, but I look forward to it, and I suspect it has saved me from obliger rebellion. Recently, a friend at my Wednesday exercise class shared that she was agonizing over whether to quit the class. She loves the class and would miss the health benefits, but dreaded the rush and stress to get there after work. We chatted, and it turned out the stress was cooking dinner for her kids between work and the class. I had pointed out gently that her kids are 16 and 18, and they are both perfectly capable of cooking a simple dinner once a fortnight. I told her about my Wednesday evenings off from family chores, and her face lit up. That was 6 months ago, and she hasn't quit the exercise class. Obligers, a reminder, you do not need to do everything for your kids every day as they get older.
That is was a great reminder, a great
Yes.
example of taking that time, making that time for yourself. And then we got this from Catherine, and this is in response to our discussion of how building our social muscles. We've been talking a lot about getting back out there, being social, exercising your social muscles. And she wrote, a simple thing I started last fall was going to a local coffee shop every Tuesday morning when they open at 7:30. At first, I would invite one or two friends each time. Soon, a couple of us decided we should just make this a standing appointment, and anyone in our circle should show up whenever they could. Almost a year later, this has become a cherished ritual. Not only have we gotten to know each other better, but our circle has grown as friends invite friends, and we have made new friends who are also regulars at the shop. The conversation is wonderful, and we've strengthened our support networks. It has certainly made me happier. If you're ever in Southern Pines, North Carolina on a Tuesday morning, feel free to join us at the Java Bean Roasting Company on Broad Street. This is so many things I love. This is the standing date so that you don't have to do the check-ins.
Planning.
It's try it at closure, which is the best way to make friends, is to make friends with the friends of your friends. It's supporting a local coffee shop. It's everything. I think this is such a nice idea.
Yes, wonderful. And then Nora had a comment about our conversation about RSVPing. She said, I find the people who don't RSVP, as well as those who arrive early or grossly late, are people who don't usually host events. Nothing is worse than having a guest arrive as you are putting the last touches on your event or arriving as you are about to clean up. They don't understand the impact their lack of response or arrival time has on the host.
Well, that's a good point. That if somebody doesn't do it, so they don't understand. But I have to say, Jamie and I are pathologically prompt. We often will have to walk around the block several times or something because I'm like, we can't arrive at 7:01. So yeah, it's something to be aware of. We got so many responses. Here's another one from Virginia. I'm a loyal listener and couldn't miss the chance to write in about a recent trip to Kansas City. See, we have to highlight this, somebody who goes to Kansas City, our beloved hometown. I'm on a quest, better than a jaunt, to go to all 50 states. So recently, my husband and I set out on a Midwest road trip to go to 3 more states that I need: Kansas, Nebraska, and Iowa. There was also a basketball theme to our trip, culminating in going to a game of the College World Series hosted annually in Omaha. Anyway, we enjoyed 2 days exploring Kansas City and had a great time. We enjoyed dinner at Winstead's before heading to a Royals game. Oh, classic. The next day, we explored the whole city, highlights including hopping on and off the free streetcar. This is brand new, by the way. A trip to Joe's Barbecue, a beer tasting at Boulevard Brewery, going to a jazz bar, checking out Union Station, the Federal Reserve Bank Museum, and so on, so much more. What a great city in the middle of America. This is so great, Virginia. This is so great to hear that you had a wonderful time. Kansas City is a terrific place.
Yes. By the way, Gretchen, I saw before people left the World Cup, they went for a last trip at Joe's Barbecue, the players who'd been in Kansas City. Yes, so I think that was a big highlight for the Kansas City people for the World Cup.
We are famous justly for our barbecue. So this week, our Try This at Home suggestion is to celebrate Dogust.
Yes.
Many call the 8th month of the year Dogust, August, because it's National Dog Month, and it also includes the universal birthday for shelter dogs on August 1st. One of my secrets of adulthood is something that can be done at any time is often done at no time. This is a good opportunity to stop and think about how grateful we are for our dogs and how much we love our dogs.
Yes, Gretchen, it is easy to start taking them for granted.
Yeah.
We have 2 corgis, Nacho and Daisy, who we love crazily.
Yeah.
But it is easy to just stop really appreciating them, to stop taking them around to new places or walking them every single day. So it's good to have this reminder.
No, I agree. We just recently passed the 1st anniversary of getting our dog Taffy because you loved having 2 dogs so much. You inspired us to get 2 dogs, which is, I would say, surprising if you know our family. We don't seem like a 2-dog family, but now we are. And we love Taffy. We love Barnaby. And it's funny, I did a little happier about Barnaby, and it's just as true for Taffy. I'll post a link to it, about my observation that you think about love and our relationships as extending into the future. but they also change the past. And it seems like you've had your dogs always.
Yes.
What was it like when we only had Barnaby? Or like when we didn't have Barnaby at all? It's hard for me to hold that in my mind. So anyway, I wrote a little happier about it. I'll link to that. But what else can we do for Dogust, Elizabeth? What do you think we should do for our dogs?
Well, I really want to take Nacho and Daisy on some outings. I think that would be great because it's great for their mental stimulation to go to new places.
Yeah.
And we always have fun when we take them places, but it does take a little planning to say, okay, what's a dog-friendly place? You don't want it to be too far away and have them in the car for too long.
Yeah.
So that is something I really want to focus on in August.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because mental stimulation for dogs is super, super important. They love it when we do more elaborate games that are a little bit more mentally challenging. I do this thing with Barnaby where I would take a bunch of little treats and then hide them, and then he has to like go and find them and dig them out. And I know that he loves doing that, but it's sort of a little bit of setup. And so I've fallen out of the habit. I want to get back into the habit of doing the things that they really enjoy. I used to be in the habit of when I would come back from walking Taffy in the morning, I would throw something. She loves to chase. I would do it for like 10 minutes. And then lately I've just been like, I don't feel like doing it. I want to just get to my desk. And then she's always like, what? Aren't we going to have our special game? And I'm like, I should do it.
Yeah. Another good thing to do, Gretchen, which is easy, is just change your route when you're walking them.
Yeah.
I know you and I are both creatures of habit, so I'm sure we both walk the same route every time.
Indeed.
But again, new smells are great for them. They love new smells, so I'm going to try to do that.
In fact, I saw somebody said, let your dogs check their pee mail. That for them, let them sniff. Don't keep tugging them along if you're walking them on a leash. Just keep moving. But for them, the interest of the walk, a lot of it is, when I was writing my book, Life in Five Senses, I mean, what dogs can smell is so extraordinary. They are just experiencing the world in a way that we cannot even conceive of it. And so that's part of what their pleasure is. And so don't just be scooting them along. Let them explore that way.
It's also a good idea to rotate their toys. Now, for my dogs,
your dogs,
they destroy toys.
Yes. Yeah.
Toys are short-lived in our house, but if we did have toys, it would be good to rotate them so that they're new again.
Well, this is a reminder for me because I had heard that. So I put a bunch of toys out of sight, but then I haven't brought them back. So I'm going to immediately start doing this. I sort of did the first step, which is put some away so they become unfamiliar, but now they've just had the same 10. Barnaby has like a super favorite toy, which if he comes back from a long trip or being away, he'll go get it. Every time he comes into the apartment, he'll find it. He'll take it from one room to another. I mean, he's super attached to that toy. So that toy can never be put away. But here's something also. Pay attention to your dog and see if there's something that you can do to make their lives more comfortable or more pleasant or more fun. You know, Elizabeth, I don't notice anything, right? I'm just such an oblivious person. But I did notice that Taffy did something that Barnaby had never done, which is she liked to go under things. She would go under this footstool that we had, which was really low. And she liked to sort of tuck herself into small places where she could look out. And that was interesting to me because Barnaby had never done it. And then I found this thing called a cave dog bed where it's a dog bed, but it has sort of a roof on it and it's small. So she's really tucked into it. And then she goes into her little cave and sticks her head out and looks. I mean, you've seen it, Elizabeth. Is it the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life?
It is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. And she stays in there for a long time. She loves it in there.
Yeah. Well, she goes in and out, and it doesn't have to do with the temperature. You might think she only did it when it's cold out or something. She wants to be warm. She'll do it for days and then she won't do it. A couple times I'm like, well, maybe she just outgrew this or isn't interested in it. But then she goes back into it. But I really gave myself credit for thinking, oh, wow, this seems like something Taffy would enjoy. And she really does enjoy it.
Yes.
And in honor of rescue dogs, you know, one thing that you could do for Dogust is to donate to a shelter. If you're somebody who really loves, feels committed to like the pleasure that we can get from dogs and wants dogs to be happy and healthy, donating to a shelter is a great way to support dogs and Dogust.
Yes.
So let us know if you do try this at home. And what are you doing to celebrate Dogust? What are you doing to show your gratitude and love for your dogs? We'd love some more ideas. Let us know on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook. drop us an email at podcast@GretchenRubin.com. Or as always, you can go to the show notes. This is happiercast.com/597.
Coming up, we have a very practical travel hack. But first, this break.
I've always liked keeping my skincare routine pretty simple, but I still want products that are backed by real science. That's what drew me to OneSkin. Instead of just covering up the visible signs of aging, their OS1 peptide was designed to work differently by targeting the aging skin cells that contribute to fine lines, loss of firmness, and dullness. And during the summer, I love that they pair their skincare with SPF essentials in limited edition bundles to help protect skin from future sun damage while supporting healthier looking skin.
OneSkin fits so easily into my routine, and now my skin feels smoother and more hydrated, and I like knowing there's serious research behind it, including 4 peer-reviewed clinical studies and more than 10,000 5-star reviews. Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin is helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code HAPPY at oneskin.co/happy. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code HAPPY. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. One thing we have realized is that most people don't fail at their health goals because they don't know what to do. We all know we're supposed to eat better, move more, get enough sleep. The hard part is actually sticking with it. That's where accountability makes all the difference. Promising yourself you'll do something is one thing. Knowing someone else is going to check in with you every day, that is a whole different level of motivation.
That is exactly what My Body Tutor is built around. Instead of trying to figure it out all on your own, you get a real personal coach who checks in with you every single day to help keep you on track. And I've known founder Adam Gilbert and My Body Tutor for years, so I know how much thought has gone into building a program that helps people actually follow through. Visit mybodytutor.com/happier for $50 off your first month of coaching. That's mybodytutor.com/happier for $50 off your first month of coaching. I have tried a lot of protein bars over the years, and one thing always frustrated me. They either had a lot of calories, a lot of sugar, or just didn't keep me satisfied. David really stood out because it's different. The Gold Bars have 28 grams of protein, only 150 calories, and 0 grams of sugar. So it's easy to fit one into a busy day when I want something convenient that also helps me stay on track with my nutrition goals. My current favorite is blueberry pie, but there are many options to choose from.
What I like is that David delivers more protein without all the extra calories and sugar you find in so many other protein bars. The texture is soft and doughy with crunchy crisps mixed in, so it really feels like a treat. And now it's even easier to try because David is available at Walmart stores nationwide and on walmart.com. Don't just take our word for it. Go grab one for yourself. Head to Walmart today to try a bar or stock up on 4 counts of your favorite flavors like blueberry pie and salted peanut butter, sold exclusively at Walmart. Check out walmart.com to find a store near you.
Okay, listen, it's time for a hack, and we cannot get enough travel hacks.
Yes.
And this is a great one that came from Laura.
Yes, she said, in your travel hack podcast, you mentioned to get a roller bag for obvious reasons like having to walk longer than expected. And I just wanted to offer another take on the perfect travel bag. I travel a lot and getting a backpacking pack made a huge difference. Most of the weight rests on your hips, and I would argue it has even more advantages than a roller bag. It is easy for longer walks, but you can also actually run with it. It always fits in overhead compartments. You are never asked to check it in when the flight is too full. While walking, you keep 2 hands available instead of 1, and it takes up less storage space in your house. I found it a game changer.
Well, I have to say, we have one of these, and Jamie much prefers it. And we were just traveling. We went away for a long weekend, and he used it. And it is, you can use it like a big duffel bag, but it has straps, so you can also put it on your shoulders. So I do think that in some situations, this could be better, especially if you think you're going to be going on a lot of stairs. Because stairs, I think, are when the rolly bags are hard to carry. But it has to be, you have to be able to have a lot of weight on your back. And I think for some people, that's just going to be a non-starter. But for some reason, Jamie he will not use a rolling bag. I do not know why. He just has set his mind against them. This is a great other option. And Laura's right. There's a lot of pros to it as opposed to the rolling bag.
Yeah, I would say for me, Gretchen, I always want to have a shoulder tote bag. So a backpack wouldn't be great for me because I have something on my shoulder. And what I love about a roller bag is that I have discovered, which I've discussed on the podcast, the trolley sleeve on bags where you can put it over the roller bag handle. So I don't know. I find that for me works best, but I absolutely get why a backpack would be easier for a lot of people.
I'll post a link to, I couldn't find the exact one that we have, but I found one that looks more or less like it. And so I'll post a link to it if somebody can't visualize what we're talking about. It's just like a duffel bag with shoulder straps. I think this is a good example, though, of know yourself. Does your trip involve stairs? Do you think you're going to be running through an airport? Like, I love the idea that you're running with it. I was like, okay, that's never good if you're running with your luggage. How about the storage space and wherever you live? Think about what it is you need and just know that there are options that can suit a lot of different situations. I thought this was a great reminder that there's a lot of different possibilities.
Yes.
And now for a 4 tendencies tip. Now, we're going to assume for the purposes of this conversation that you know about the 4 tendencies and you know about upholders and questioners and obligers and rebels. But if you do not know, you can go to GretchenRubin.com. You can take a quiz to find out if you're an upholder, questioner, obliger, rebel. It will give you a little report on yourself that will make so many things clear to you. You can look up more than you ever want to know about this 4 tendencies framework and why I think it's so helpful. I wrote a whole book about the 4 tendencies. But for this, we'll just assume you know what the 4 tendencies are and we'll just get into it.
Yeah, so this comes from Krista, who has a question. She says, is it possible to be an upholder who is malfunctioning because of the fact that I have 3 little kids? I've been racking my brain as to why I can't keep my habits when I realized my schedule does not currently belong to me. Or maybe I'm just not an upholder. Do you recall these days? Maybe your girls were just better sleepers than mine.
Okay, so I'm so glad that Krista brought this up because this is a very common issue with upholders. Upholders, I think, feel particularly distressed when they have little kids and they just cannot maintain the same level of consistency, meeting expectations that they could before. This is something that just comes up a lot. So, of course, upholders readily meet outer and inner expectations. But sometimes, like, your situation just isn't cooperating. If you have 3 little kids who are having trouble sleeping, there's no way you can to-do list yourself out of that. That is the season of life that you are in, and you just need to say, how do I adjust my expectations for myself given my situation? Now, for me, it was much easier because my 2 daughters are 6 years apart. So by the time Eleanor arrived, Eliza was already, a 6-year-old is a lot easier to manage than a 2-year-old. She asked about, do I recall those days? I do, but I think I had a little bit of an easier time. Even one kid, as you know, Elizabeth, even one child is disruptive to your routines, but it's harder if you have 3 little kids, for sure.
Yeah.
So I would say, as an upholder, what you want to do is you want to tap into your ability to set your inner expectations for yourself. And you want to say, given the reality of what my life is like right now, what are my priorities? What are my values? What is realistic and manageable? And what are the expectations that I'm going to set for myself now? I'm going to create new expectations because I'm in a new situation. Sometimes upholders just feel like, well, I've always done XYZ. I'm really letting myself down if I can't do XYZ. But sometimes it's just so stressful and maybe even impossible to do XYZ. It's just not realistic. But upholders are good at being able to step back and saying, I need to create a situation that works for me now. So you want to tap into that. Don't get focused on, I need to do everything perfectly or everything as consistently as I always did before, but what's realistic for me now? And maybe there's certain things that I'm going to suspend. or I'm only going to do them on the weekends, or I'm going to do it twice a week instead of 5 days a week, or whatever it might be. And I say this to me, that we can get very rigid.
Yeah.
It can be hard for us to be flexible. It can be hard for us to let go of something that, because we find that comforting. I think that's what other tendencies don't understand, is that for an upholder, that's actually reassuring and comforting. So to let go of it is actually very uncomfortable. But it's also uncomfortable to have all these expectations for yourself that you can't realistically meet. So I would say, Krista, step back, think about it, what's most important to you now, and how you can make it work for yourself. Because this discomfort and uneasiness that you're feeling is very common for upholders with little kids.
Even knowing that will probably be helpful, that it is common. And for me, it seems a great time to reframe. Reframe your definition of success for your habits.
Right. Well, and then also remember, this is a season of life and they will get older and you can come back to it. But we can't do every single thing at all times because upholders do have that tendency to really lock in. It can be hard for them to adjust.
All right, Gretch, coming up, we have a listener question from someone who's curious about our reading habits. But first, this break.
This message comes from Harvard Business School Executive Education. Now is the time to invest in yourself and change the world with your voice. Our programs connect you with faculty at the forefront of their fields, introduce you to a global network of leaders, and help you step into your full potential. The next chapter is yours. Let us help you write it. Apply today to accelerate your future. Learn more at hbs.me/accelerate. That's hbs.me/accelerate. One thing I've learned about summer dressing is that the pieces you love most are usually the simplest ones, the things you reach for again and again because they're comfortable, versatile, and always seem to work. That's why we keep coming back to Quince. I've been especially loving their European linen pieces. They're lightweight, easy to wear, and somehow look polished without requiring any effort.
Quince makes elevated essentials using premium materials like European linen, organic cotton, and washable silk, but without the traditional markup. Their linen pants, dresses, and tops start at just $32, and their soft denim and organic cotton sweaters are perfect for cooler summer evenings. I also love their 14-karat gold jewelry, simple pieces that instantly pull an outfit together. Make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/Gretchen for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/Gretchen for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Gretchen.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
Okay, it's time for a listener question, and this question comes from Holly.
She said, I've read several of your books and absolutely love them, but it is only these past few months that I've also begun listening to your podcast, and I'm loving these too. I wish I had started a long time ago, but the great thing is that I'm able to bring up all of your episodes right from the beginning, so then I'll be able to catch up on all the old podcasts. We love that, Gretch.
We love our completists.
Yep. I'm also using the strategy of pairing. I have to do about 20 minutes of therapeutic stretches for my feet every day, so that is the perfect time to listen as I find the stretches incredibly boring and never want to do them. But now that I've associated something positive with them, it's much more pleasant and the time seems to pass more quickly. Happily, it should be quite a while before I run out of episodes. I do have one question I've been wanting to ask. I'm also a questioner. Every week, you and Elizabeth tell us what book you are reading that week. Is this really true? With your very busy lives and families, do you each really read an entire book every single week? Sometimes I can't even get a book read over the course of a month, and I love to read. Are these books you start but don't necessarily plan to finish? Are they just promotions or plugs for certain authors? Would love to understand this mystery.
Well, this is a great question because we love talking about reading. The first thing we would say is we never mention a book just as a plug-in or as a promotion.
Yeah.
It's always a sincere choice that we have made in our own lives. Never question that.
Yeah.
They're all sincere choices. Well, Elizabeth, I know for you, because you have audiobooks, that helps you get through faster, I think, than a lot of people might realize.
Yes. A lot of times when I say I'm reading whatever book, probably most often I'm listening to it, but I just count that obviously as reading.
Yes.
And I listen in the car and while I'm getting ready and walking the dog. So I usually manage to get through a book. Also, sometimes if you keep listening, you'll hear that I do say I'm still reading such and such book, or I'm not reading anything this week because I'm just too busy. It does happen sometimes that I don't finish a book. I mean, just because I'm reading a book doesn't necessarily guarantee that I'll finish it.
I think we always start it thinking that we're going to finish. But one thing you and I have both worked on is putting down a book if we don't like it. So if we've just started a book, we might say that we're reading it, then we decide not to. I think that's pretty rare, but it does happen.
Yeah, it happens occasionally.
It happens occasionally. For me, I think a lot of it is I will often read 2 books at the same time. I picked up this habit from my husband. I used to never do it. Now I do it. So I might have an overlapping book. So it's not like I read it all in a week. That is the week that I'm sort of actively reading it or nearing the end of it. I tend to mention a book when I feel like I am towards the end of it. It might be that I read 2 short books or whatever.
Also, Gretchen, I have to point out, you read faster than anybody I have ever known. You just read very quickly.
Do I? I don't feel like I read that fast.
Yes, when I give you something to read that I've written, you read it faster than anybody I've ever seen, and you retain all the knowledge. You are a very fast reader.
That would be great. I would love to think that. I must be a fast reader because I feel like I'm never reading. And then every month on social media, I post a picture of all the books that I've finished that month. So if it's in that picture, I did finish it. So if I stopped reading it because I didn't like it, it will not be in that photo. And then I always think I feel like I didn't read, but I read 6 books or whatever. So I don't know. It's a puzzle to me because I always want more time to read. Also, another thing I think sometimes, Elizabeth, is that we will say we're starting a book. So sometimes we might not have even read the first page. It's just the next book that we know is in our queue.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering, the timing of when the book is finished might jump all over the place because of how we're reading the books.
Gretchen, I'm remembering when you were on Oprah's show, Super Soul Sunday, and at the end, she asked a series of questions like, what gives you comfort? What rejuvenates you? You know, what do you do this, that, and the other thing? And every single one of your answers was books or reading.
Well, you know what this reminds me of, Elizabeth? And I think this is called like the Beyonce effect or something. Apparently, when you are going through a super intense experience, it can interfere with your short-term memory. People would go to a Beyonce concert and then they're like, I don't even really remember it. They were so overwhelmed, they couldn't remember it. And I can't really remember that. I remember a few moments, but I mean, you were there watching, you were there with me, and it just was like a blur because I was so overwhelmed. I think my memory wasn't functioning properly.
Well, you should go back and watch.
I should. Well, but I never would. You know how that is.
That's true. Okay, Gretch, it is time for Demerits and Gold Stars. And this week it is your turn for a demerit.
So I have been working on this big project. I'm calling it the Family Timeline Project. And again, it goes to my memory because I feel like I do not have a good memory. The parts of our lives that we have shared, you have a much better memory than I do. And this is something I'm always kind of working on. How can I hang on to memories? What can I do for memories? As part of that, I print out these hard copy photo albums as kind of a family diary. So, and this is always on my list for my annual list, 26 for 26, do the family photo albums because it's kind of a nuisance. And then I print them out and then I take a Sharpie and write captions on the pages. So they really are like a family diary so that I can say, oh, okay, it was 2022. What were we doing in February? I could just go look it up. I do this because there are many reasons, but one reason is to help my memory. But I realized I never go back and look at these things. They're like an aid memoir, but I never go back and look at them. So I was going to do this Family Timeline Project. I got this special notebook and I was starting and I was just going back and just writing down like, where did we go for spring break in 2018? And what year did Eleanor learn to ride a bicycle? And what year did we get Barnaby? Because, things seem so vivid.
Yes.
And then, you can't remember. Where did we stay? Now, because I can never remember where we stay, I always try to take a picture if we stay someplace. So I have a picture of like a member of my family, like pointing to the name of the hotel or whatever. So I'm like, oh, that's where we stayed. But I thought, okay, well, I want to go through and do this timeline so I can really just flip through a notebook and remember things. And I got out every single photo album, put them on the dining room table, and I was going to go through them. Well, you can imagine what happened. I got stalled out. This turned out to be very, very satisfying, but also kind of very emotionally taxing, thinking through all these memories. And so then they were just sitting there. And Jamie's like, you got to get these off the dining room table. It's making me bonkers. So then I put them away. But I want to go back and finish this. I just can't. And Elizabeth, I don't know. What do you think? How do I tackle this? Should I do it in half an hour every day? Should I take a week and really work on it for several hours every afternoon? Whatever I'm doing isn't working because I haven't done it in months.
Maybe you should do like a year a week.
Okay, but the problem with that is that the albums aren't already in order. Well, I guess I could just do a year, but not in order. I could do 2018 and then 2007.
Right.
I could just do a year. Oh, that's not a bad idea.
If you want to sit down for 2 hours, you can, but you just know you want to get it done by the end of the week.
That's a good idea. I like that because it feels very manageable.
Yeah.
And bounded. I can see how the end would come. And there's also something about a year where it makes sense intellectually because it's just sort of taxing. Part of the reason I've got a bad memory is that I find it taxing to be dragging up memories, dredging through memories. Where were we? When was this? Who was that? What was the context? What was going on? Okay, I like this. Okay.
Well, especially now, if Dad is involved in anything, it's going to be very emotional to revisit.
Well, that's a very good point. I haven't worked on it since well before he died. So I haven't done this at all since. So that's a really good thing to remember. Because again, it's like I have to be like in a calm place to do this. And now even more. But that makes me want to do it even more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now there'll be that added thing. Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth. My own happiness bully. What is your gold star?
Well, Gretchen, I am giving a gold star to all of the monoculture events this summer.
Yes.
All of us have been enjoying how everyone has been rallying around these events. So it started with the Knicks going to the finals.
Oh my gosh.
Even people who weren't Knicks fans like me. I mean, I like the Knicks, but not a particular fan. Just loved watching that. We've got the World Cup that ended recently, which again, I'm not a soccer watcher, but I loved all of the monoculture of everybody watching, of all the players and all the cities enjoying the U.S.
And Kansas City was in it. So we love that Kansas City played its role.
Yes, that added to it. Yeah. When we were traveling, we would see people in jerseys and painted faces. And it was just so fun. Everybody watching in bars and restaurants. And then the other monoculture in my little niche world, Gretchen, has been Love Island. Love Island is a reality show that I had never watched until this season. It's over now this season, but the thing that makes it so monoculture is that it is on 6 days a week. So when it is on, people are watching it every single day. So and it's taking place in real time. It has not been pre-taped. It is actually only about 2 days behind. So you're really watching it unfold, and people love talking about it. There's lots of social media about it. There's tons of podcasts about it. You know, I love listening to podcasts about reality TV. Yeah. And then it's just something that you share with others. So I'm just loving all these monoculture events. I've heard lots of people talking about how it's made this summer so much more fun.
But Elizabeth, you missed one, a very obvious one.
Which one?
Well, I'll give you a hint. There is a Kansas City connection. And there's also a Knicks connection.
Oh, of course. Travis and Taylor's wedding. Another monoculture event I absolutely enjoyed. You know what? Yeah. Not enough details have come out.
No.
So it hasn't really come to fruition.
Is she doing a documentary about the wedding?
I hope so.
Is there going to be a movie of the wedding?
I hope so.
Is my question.
I hope so.
No, it was like a frustrated monoculture.
Yes.
Everybody wanted to do it. You couldn't even get near Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, so I think that one fell out of my mind because I don't feel it's complete.
Right.
But I
right.
look forward to what I hope will be a 2-hour
Yes.
feature release.
Yes, exactly. Well, I completely agree, Elizabeth. It is so fun to have these things to share and to talk about and to enjoy. And it just makes everybody feel united and energized.
Yeah.
So, Gold Star. The resource for this week, if you enjoy the conversations that we have here on the podcast, you might like my Substack newsletter. I share reflections, teaching stories. I love a teaching story. Proverbs about human nature and self-knowledge. These are like little stories that are very carefully crafted. You can sign up for free. That's weekly. It's called Secrets of Adulthood on Substack. If you have been thinking about subscribing or upgrading to paid, now is a great time because in August, I am going to be sharing a special offer exclusively for paid subscribers. So again, you can get something for free. You can also pay. Subscribe at secretsofadulthood.substack.com. Just go to Substack, look for Secrets of Adulthood. And Elizabeth, we have to mention that you also have a Substack newsletter. Talk about that for a second.
Yes, we have a Substack newsletter. We also answer Saturday questions on video. Once a week, Sarah and I have a behind-the-scenes working lunch where it's just a live of us working for an hour, brainstorming, collaborating.
Sometimes people are like, do they know they're on camera?
We also have the first 5 where you can send us the first 5 pages of your script and we'll critique one a month. That's for paid subscribers. So lots of fun stuff at Happier in Hollywood on Substack.
And then speaking of what are we reading, Elizabeth, what are you reading or listening to?
I am listening to This American Ex-Wife, How I Ended My Marriage and Started My Life by Liz Lenz.
And I am reading Permanence by Sophie McIntosh. And that's it for this episode of Happier. Remember to try this at home. Celebrate Dogust for the dog in your life. Let us know, how did you celebrate Dogust? What did you do? We would love to hear.
Thank you to our executive producer, Chuck Reed, who also has 2 dogs, and everyone at Lemonada.
And here's your rhyming reminder. If you like the show, tell others you know.
Until next week, I'm Elizabeth Kraft.
And I'm Gretchen Rubin. Thanks for joining us. Onward and upward. Elizabeth, I wonder what cat month is. I feel like we should have mentioned all the people who love cats. Adam had cats. Jamie had cats. You and I are very allergic to cats, so we don't have cats in our lives right now, but people love cats.
Oh, okay. Something to look up.
Yeah, something to look up.
Uncovered windows can make your home feel up to 20 degrees hotter. Stay cool and save up to 45% off custom window treatments during the summer Black Friday mega sale at Blinds.com. From outdoor shades to room darkening blinds, finding the perfect fit is easy. Get free samples, expert design help, and professional measure and install services, or DIY with confidence and support every step of the way. Shop up to 45% off site-wide, plus huge savings on doorbusters right now during the summer Black Friday mega sale at Blinds.com.